Nebraska.com. Sponsored by Nebraska Game and Parks. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
On the Block with Strick and Austin.
Sometimes playing with a healthy fear is good because it makes you go, hunt it out. Because the more tentative you are, I always told kids, I said, listen, if you don't like this and you don't want to play, don't play. Because you're going to be worse off and get probably hurt more by being tentative in your play as opposed to playing all out.
Weekdays from 2 to 4 on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
I get it, slip it, cuff it, check it twice a day.
I get it, slip it, cuff it, check it in the morning and before dinner.
I get it, slip it, cuff it, check it, and share it with my doctor. Nearly 1 in 2 U.S. adults have high blood pressure. That's why it's important to self-monitor your blood pressure in 4 easy-to-remember steps. It starts with a monitor.
Now that I know my blood pressure numbers, I talked with my doctor. We're getting those numbers down.
Get it, slip it, cuff it, check it. Talk to doctor now and share it.
Be next to talk to your doctor about your blood pressure numbers. Get down with your blood pressure. Self-monitoring is power. Learn more at manageyourbp.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council, the American Heart Association, and the American Medical Association, in partnership with the Office of Minority Health and Health Resources and Services Administration.
Victor deployed for the first time to Afghanistan in 2003. At 4 a.m, my phone rang. They said, I regret to inform you that your husband was wounded in action. Victor sustained a moderate traumatic brain injury. I was doing school full-time, and I was also then caring for Victor. One of the most important elements of caregiving is taking care of yourself. I just didn't want to forget that I also had goals and that I also had a life. What I did is I challenged Victor to meet me halfway. There are almost 6 million military and veteran caregivers across the nation. We have our own journey, and we can fulfill that journey at the same time that we are helping our loved one.
Visit aarp.org/caregiving for a free military veterans guide to navigate your caregiving journey and better care for your loved one and yourself. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
How was your drive to school?
Let me tell you, I had to get my iced coffee first. I just can't seem to put it down. My favorite rapper just announced a tour. My phone was buzzing like crazy. I'm so excited. I had to text all my friends right then to talk about it. Then someone started calling me and...
Let's try that again.
I turned my phone off right away. I never drive distracted.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Neil Armstrong waited 6 hours and 39 minutes to step onto the surface of the moon. Jackie Robinson waited 20 months to play his first game with the Brooklyn Dodgers. And even DiCaprio had to wait 22 years to win an Oscar. You can wait until your destination. Don't text and drive.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Dance like a dad. It's a great way to make a moment with your kids.
First, I hold my hands out like they're on a steering wheel. Then I look over my shoulder. Next, I put it in reverse.
Visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
If you can plan barbecues and weddings, you can plan to protect yourself from a natural disaster. Sign up for local alerts, prepare an emergency kit, and make a family communications plan. Get started at ready.gov/plan.
Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. The home of Kansas City Royals baseball. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. Welcome in to the Get Your Happy On Hour, featuring former Husker receiver Ricky Simmons.
Hey, welcome to the Get Your Happy On Hour. Man, look at here. We on 93.7 The Ticket. I got a special guest tonight, but before we get to him, I got a couple of announcements I need to get by right quick. Big shout out to the Kiwanis Club of Lincoln, man. I really appreciate the love that you guys are showing us. Just out of curiosity, Harris, how can people reach out to Kiwanis?
Yeah, really easy. Just go to LincolnKiwanis.org. You spell that Kiwanis, KIWANIS.org. Get all your content there. And again, great work from those guys. It's worth checking out. And they do a lot of good work, especially around the Lincoln community. Real easy to get to. Again, LincolnKiwanis.org.
Appreciate that. And y'all know, I think we got something scrolling across the bottom about my website on how you can join the Get Your Happy On movement. I want you guys to check that out when you get a chance. You know, I want to start the show off, man, by just saying thank you guys for tuning in. And you guys are really making this interesting for me because I appreciate when people take time out of their day to acknowledge something that they don't have to. And a lot of people are doing that. And I just want to say thank you because you're reaching out to me on my social media and in private messages and letting me know that you're watching. That means the world to me. So I just don't ever want to take anything for granted, and especially people taking time out of their day to watch the show. You know, there's a lot of adversity going on out here, so I want you guys to focus on the positive, and that's what this show is about. You know, a lot of my guests that we have on the show, they have public lives, but I be kind of getting in their private lives, you know, kind of find out the behind the scenes stuff that a lot of people don't know. And speaking of, tonight, I got one of the hottest DJs in Lincoln, D-Luv.
Yeah, what's up?
Man,
what's
how
up?
you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm doing
Well,
great.
thank you, first of all, man, for coming on and coming in.
Yes.
You know, that means a lot to me. D-Luv, I got to ask, man, where'd you grow up, man?
I grew up right here in Lincoln, Nebraska.
Okay, but aren't you from originally?
Originally from Chicago. Native
Okay.
of Chicago.
Now, what high school did you go to?
Lincoln High.
Lincoln High. Well, you're Link.
Yes.
Okay.
You know.
Okay. So now, growing up here in Lincoln, man, and going to Lincoln High,
yeah,
you finished high school, and then what happened?
I procrastinated and should have went to barber school right out of high school.
Okay.
But I didn't. I went to work and I started my DJ career.
Okay.
So I always wanted to be a DJ and a barber. That was
your goal.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So I was cutting hair in high school and DJing in high school, and so that's just kind of always been me.
Well, let me ask you this. Now, when you say you was DJing in high school, you were just kind of doing this on the side, just something that you just like doing, or is it?
It was a passion of mine ever since I was 7 when my dad was on the radio.
Wow. Okay.
He was on a community radio station called KBMT.
Okay, gotcha.
And he would bring me along with him to do the show. And so kind of like, you know, we have the studio here. There was a production room off to the side.
Mm-hmm.
And so while he was doing his show, I was doing my imaginary show.
So you was having your own show.
I was having my own show.
Okay.
Yep. And so, you know, back in the day when you had your home system,
right?
You didn't just have, you know, one component. You had your decks, you had your EQ, you had your reverb, you had a whole rack full of stuff. And so I just enjoyed like plugging and unplugging all of the equipment, and I would just like sit in the basement in my pop's his rack and just imagining that I was on the radio. And so it's just always been something that I've loved.
So you've done this since you were very young.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, see, you already confused me because when you started talking about these different racks, I had no clue what you were talking about.
You don't remember? I know you had the.
Yeah, I know, but I ain't.
I vinyl. I know you had a turntable.
Yes,
you had to have your receiver, your amp. You had to have all that stuff. It wasn't all in one.
But someone had to hook it up for me. See, you was doing it yourself.
Yeah, I was in the back.
Yeah. See, if I was in the back, you wouldn't have no music. That's what I'm saying. But no, man, I mean, for you to take an interest like that, it had to be a passion.
Well, you know, my initials are DJ. So I feel like I was just born to do
that.
This.
Makes sense, Derek Jones. That does make sense.
Yeah.
I didn't even put that together, man. I'm a little slow here right now, but no, you know what though? I really admire the fact that you found your passion at that age. Because see, a lot of times people don't find their passions
right
for a long time.
Yeah.
So you've known pretty much your whole life.
Yeah, it's just been in me. I don't know what it is. It's just been in me. I just love playing music for people.
Yeah, well, see, I love listening to music, and that part right there, I can see the joy I get from listening, but I wouldn't know what it's like to be the person doing what you're doing,
Right?
Because you got to please a lot of different people.
Yes,
and that can't be easy.
It's fun though. It's fun. I get to, I do a lot of weddings and special events.
Okay.
I get to play for different people.
Okay.
So some people, I play, like last night I did a 80s night.
Oh, okay.
So I played, 4 or 5 hours of just 80s.
Wow. Okay.
And it was fun because first it was a challenge. Like, I got to get my 80s playlist together, and like, how am I going to rock a party with 80s? And then I started listening, and all those old songs started coming back, and it's like, and so we got to the party, and I'm just throwing down 80s joints, and it's just play a little rock, play a little hip hop, and play a little R&B, and we got the party going just on some 80s nostalgia, and just like, oh, I remember that, I forgot about that. Yeah. Oh my God, I forgot about that. So it's fun for me to just be diverse, and play different stuff.
So you can play in just about any venue?
Absolutely. Well, I'm not gonna say any venue, because there are some genres that I'm not as well versed as other DJs may be, but I can play some different crowds.
Man, I'm sitting there thinking about if I had to put together a playlist for, let's say, a group that don't listen to what I listen to.
Mm-hmm.
See, that would be challenging for me. So when you run into situations like that, you just have to do your research.
You gotta trust your ear and just play what you like. Like, for example, when I do a country party, like I do a lot of weddings where they're like, we want country and we want rap. And I'm like, all right, cool. So I go and start, sifting through the country records and downloading country songs. And I don't really listen to country like that. Me personally, I do enjoy country music, but I don't know what the hottest.
Right.
I look at the charts and I try to keep a track of stuff, but at the end of the day, I'm like, do I like this? If I like it, then then maybe somebody else will like it. So I gotta just go with your ear and what feels good to you.
So you play a lot of different venues around Lincoln, is that correct?
Yeah. I play all different types of venues and all different types of events.
So you do this weekly, or?
Well, since for the last year, we have my cousin and I, we own a bar downtown.
Okay.
And so
what's the name of your bar, man?
It's called Gravity.
Gravity. Okay. Yep. Now, where is that located?
It's on 11th and O, or 12th and O, right on the corner of 12th.
Well, you're gonna be close to the new
that's
station.
What I'm saying. It's gonna be right next door to the Ticket.
Huh.
Yeah, so I get to see the build. I've watched the building kind of renovate, and I see the 93 Ticket.
Oh, okay.
And I'm like, yeah, that's gonna be dope.
Okay. So Gravity. Now what you say? You and your buddy own it?
My cousin.
Your cousin?
Yep.
Now, tell me about this club.
It's always been first off, it's always been a dream of mine to, dream of ours to have our own club.
Okay.
And so, we just feel extremely blessed and fortunate that we've had that opportunity. And that space, for people that have lived in Lincoln, it used to be called Mars Bar.
Mars Bar.
Yeah. And the character of the building was built in the early 1900s.
Okay.
And so the building has that old character. It's all brick, and it's just it's built different. It's built old school, and so it looks and it feels different than any other venue in town. And
now, how long you been there? Y'all been there?
A little over a year.
A little over a year.
We opened March of last year.
Now, this place, is it just a bar, or is it a club?
It's
restaurant?
It's an upscale like lounge nightclub type feel.
Gotcha.
So in a town in an area riddled with college bars and dive bars, you have Gravity, which is like, hey, I enjoy going out to the bars, but I want to like do something a little more upscale.
Right.
I want to I want to put on some nice clothes. I want to get a section and a bottle and like celebrate.
Gotcha.
You know, you come to Gravity for that.
So do you now? What nights or what are your hours?
We're open on the weekends, Fridays and Saturdays right now, and then we do events throughout the week. You know,
Okay.
on Sundays. So we're open to people that want to do their own events and
Okay, so people can actually book you.
yeah,
book you.
people can book the place and do their own thing.
Okay. And do you DJ those events too?
Sometimes people ask me to DJ, and but I do enjoy when people bring in other DJs.
I got you.
Yeah.
But on Fridays and Saturdays, you do the DJing?
No, not all the time. You know,
okay.
We bring in other DJs. We have outside promoters that bring in DJs, and
Okay.
it's cool. I mean, I like to hear other DJs spinning, and I love providing a platform for other DJs to rock too.
That's big. That's big because a lot of people, once they reach that, they kind of like that old saying that I've got to the top, so I'm gonna pull a ladder up behind me because I don't want nobody else to. But
Yeah.
you're just the opposite. You know, you're trying to help others.
Yeah, you got to get people involved. Like the only reason people are going to come out is if you make them feel welcome and make them feel like they're a part of it.
Now, I think I saw something online where DJ Melly Mel.
Oh my gosh.
DJ Melly Mel, big shout out.
So Melly Mel and I go back to 98.
Okay.
When I was fresh out of high school. I'm definitely aging myself, but you know, I still look good for my
There you go.
We still look
we're
good,
young men,
you know?
man. I don't care what nobody say.
So the first club that I DJ'd at, actually the first club that I actually went into, and I got the opportunity because I was DJing so young. I had some mentors that brought me into the club, younger than I was supposed to be in the club. And I'll never forget, I walked into the spot. It was called Temptations, and it was probably 300 people or more in that space. And I look up at the DJ booth, and I see this white girl.
DJ Melly Man.
And I'm like, and you know, before I saw her, the music got me, because this back in '98 when, you know, I feel like the music in the club was about as it was just as mixed and cultured as it's ever been. You had your NWAs, you had your Tribe Called Quest, you had your Jay-Z's, you had your Public Enemies, you had your Outkast, you know, it was just a melting pot of different styles of hip hop, but it was all cool to play in the club. And so the playlist was just crazy, and she was playing all the hottest music. This is when, you know, Tupac, you know, and Biggie, they were, you know, and so I look up and I'm like, no, she not the DJ. She can't be the DJ. So I went and found the stairs and went in the booth, and sure enough, she was there rocking. And I said, we have got to be best friends. And so her and I, we still DJ together. We do a monthly event called First Saturdays.
First Saturday. Now, where is that at?
It just depends.
Oh, y'all move it around.
We move around.
Okay, good deal.
Yeah, but we do an event, and we are in our 8th year this year.
Wow.
Okay. First Saturdays. Every first Saturday of the month, we do a party.
Man.
And it's me and Melly Mel, and it's just a beautiful
If you and Melly Mel doing something, man, I might have to break out and show up, man.
Yeah.
At least for a minute. I know I can't dance, but I think I can.
You don't got to be able to dance. You could just sit and you can just bop.
Yeah. I can bob my head now.
Yeah.
I can do that.
Yeah.
Oh, man. But, you know, I first of all, I just want to say, you know, big shout out to Melly Mel.
Big shout out.
And also, I got to give a shout out to Miss B.
Absolutely.
I'm, you know, big Miss B fan as well. She is also came on the show, and she used to have me on her show a lot. So I always try to be respectful of people that took an interest in me before I even had an interest in doing like radio. I mean, if someone would have said 5 years ago, Ricky, you'll be doing your own radio show, I would have probably said, y'all need a drug test because that's not going to happen. That ain't what I do. But, it worked out. And like I say, Miss B is a big part of that because she gave me some opportunities, to just sample the radio life. I mean, because it's a very different thing. I'm sure it's probably not as complicated as DJing because I don't have to make sure that everybody in there is happy with the music I'm selecting. But still, when you're doing a show, you still got to be respectful of your audience. And I'm actually really starting to like this radio thing because it's giving me an opportunity to help people that has helped me, and again, I'm just really thankful. I'm going to say this 100 more times before the show's over. I'm thankful for you coming in too, man, because people don't have to do stuff. People got lives, and when you take time out of your day to come and do something on my behalf, that's not taken for granted. I got to ask another question, though. Now, you do the DJ thing, and you said something about being a barber.
Mm-hmm.
So do you do that as well?
I am. I retired from being a professional barber, but I still keep my license, and I always will.
Okay.
I co-owned the barbershop for 12 years.
Oh, okay.
And I've been a licensed barber since 2003.
Wow. Okay. So you did go ahead and you jumped right on your passions right off the top, huh?
Yeah. So funny story. So when I was about the same time that I fell in love with DJing, like turntablist DJ, because I was introduced to radio DJing from my pops.
Right.
I was like 7 or 8, but I didn't really see the turntable side, like the turntablist side of DJing, until I was 11 when I saw Juice. I don't know if you remember Juice. It was Tupac's first role, along with Omar Epps' first role, and he was a turntable DJ, and so when I saw that, I was like, yo,
this is it.
This is what I'm going to do. I remember telling my dad this at the movie theater. I remember nudging him like, that's what I'm going to do right there. And so around that same time, I wanted to get a crispy fade. I wanted to get a nice haircut like Kid and Play had. And went to a couple barbershops and they couldn't. I don't know if I think the fade style was maybe relatively new. But I just couldn't find a barber that could just bust a tight fade.
Yeah.
So I asked my parents if they would loan me some money to go to Walgreens and get my own clippers, because I was going to try to do it myself.
Oh.
And they loaned me the money, or they gave me the money. I went to Walgreens, got myself the old school wall clippers.
Yeah.
And I went to town on my hair.
How'd it turn out?
And so I said, I'll never forget the next morning, because we rode the bus to school. I got on the bus. My homeboy was like, yo, whoever did that, just know I'll help you beat him up.
In other words,
I got you back.
In other words,
we're going to get him together, because whoever did that to your head got to get a beat down today after school. Your hair is jacked up. And I was just sitting there like,
oh man.
And everybody was on the bus. Like everybody rode the bus. So the whole bus is laughing at me.
Oh man.
Because my haircut is so terrible. And so, I had to live with it all day and all next day until my hair grew back. But I just kept practicing on my own hair. And I ended up figuring it out.
Gotcha.
And so I faded myself up. And then, so the same people that was laughing at me on the bus became my clients. And so they would start coming over to, to my mom and pop's crib. And that became like a part-time job for me in high school. I was doing $5 haircuts, and all the homies were coming over and Thursday, Friday night getting their fresh cuts. And so that's how that started.
So it started off with you jacking your head up.
My head up.
You jacked your head up and turned it to the barber for all your friends.
That's right.
Well, hey, look, man, we're gonna take a quick break, but we're gonna come right back with DJ D-Luv. Don't y'all go anywhere. 93.7 The Ticket. Get your happy on hour.
Play 93.7 The Ticket.
Okay, playing 93.7 The Ticket.
Alexa, turn down the lights.
Dimming the lights.
Alexa, order a pizza. The big one. All the toppings.
Are you sure that's a good idea?
Alexa.
That's a lot of pizza for just one man.
Alexa, just do it. Stop judging me, just do it.
As you wish.
Thanks, Alexa. You're my best friend.
Hi, this is Pastor Tom. Did you know there's a place kids can seek out help when they're away from home and something goes wrong? They find themselves in a difficult spot or even a dangerous situation. Maybe another child is bullying them or a stranger is following them. Perhaps on a date and things just go bad. In Lincoln, here's where they can find help. It's called Safe Place. Safe Place is a national program for children taking place in thousands of cities across the United States. The People's City Mission is sponsoring this program in our community and has set up a number of businesses, fire stations, schools, and nonprofits around the city to become safe locations where kids can seek out help. They just need to look for the big yellow sign that says Safe Place on it. Then go inside and ask for help. We will be quickly connected to them and ensure they make it back home or to whatever resources are needed. If you'd like to find out more about Safe Place and ways in which you can get involved, just go to pcmlincoln.org. Remember, when we all do a little, we change a lot.
I let my mistakes kind of take over my life. I was 0.5 credits away from completing high school, and I didn't do it.
10 years later, at age 28, Jackie finished her high school diploma.
When I found out that I was pregnant, I know that I had to do something for myself if I wanted to make her a better person and provide a better life for her. My family never stopped pushing for me to be better because they knew what I could become and who I could become as a person. My support team is amazing. The educational director, my sister, and even my 7-year-old daughter has just been more than the support that I could ask for. I've been given an opportunity, and I'm just thankful for it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Nebraska State Veterans Homes are here to serve veterans, their spouses, surviving spouses, and Gold Star parents. Join your fellow veterans and their families at one of our homes in Bellevue, Kearney, Norfolk, or Scottsbluff. With a sliding scale to determine your financial contribution, an excellent clinical team, and plenty of fun activities, our homes are the perfect retirement choice. Learn more at veterans.nebraska.gov/homes. Sponsored by the Nebraska Department of Veterans Affairs, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
How was your drive to school?
Let me tell you, I had to get my iced coffee first. I just can't seem to put it down. My favorite rapper just announced a tour. My phone was buzzing like crazy. I'm so excited. I had to text all my friends right then to talk about it. Then someone started calling me and...
Let's try that again.
I turned my phone off right away. I never drive distracted.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Adoption of teens from foster care is a topic not enough people know about, and we're here to change that. I'm April Dinwiddie, host of the new podcast, Navigating Adoption, presented by Adopt US Kids. Each episode brings you compelling real-life adoption stories told by the families that live them with commentary from experts. Visit adoptuskids.org/podcast or subscribe to Navigating Adoption, presented by Adopt US Kids. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services Administration for Children and Families and the Ad Council.
Welcome in to the Get Your Happy On Hour, featuring former Husker receiver Ricky Simmons.
Hey, we back. we was talking during the break. This young man, I mean, he found his passion at a really young age, and there's a lot of people that they don't ever find their passion, and what I mean by that is there's a lot of people out there that they go to work every day and they dread going to work. And I just think it's it's amazing that you at such a young age, you figured out what you wanted to do. And not only did you figure it out, you pursued it. Even if you did have to jack your own head up a few times to learn how to be a barber.
Yeah.
I mean, but what I'm trying to say in a very complimentary way is that is very important for anybody to learn what they want to do. I mean, I don't care what your skill set is, but I believe everyone has a gift, and you figured out what your gift was at a very early age, and you jumped on it and you haven't looked back. I was just sitting here thinking, man, like going forward, man, what's the plan for D-Luv, man? What are you thinking?
I think I just need to keep doing what makes me happy.
Yeah.
And I'm at a place now where I just have to kind of be content, with, hey, this is just who you are. This is just what you do. And maybe you'll get to another level. Maybe you won't. But at the end of the day, does it make you happy?
Right.
Does it make you get your happy on?
Yeah.
And are you fulfilling that purpose? And so if that's what it is, it doesn't really matter what level or where you take it. It's just keep doing it.
It's very interesting when you say that, because this show is titled Get Your Happy On Hour for a reason. Sometimes I need to clarify things for people that don't know me. Get Your Happy On it's a mindset and a lifestyle all in one. I never want to give the impression that because I'm always talking about Get Your Happy On, that my life is perfect. I always try to make it really clear that when you go through a lot of trials and tribulations in your life, and you get to a point to where, you're treading water and you're not drowning anymore, that's reason enough right there to be happy. Now, anything other than that is like a bonus. And I always focus on the positive, because just in my daily travels, I see negativity getting glorified. This is just what I've noticed. I'm not saying I'm right, but I just don't see a whole bunch of people going out of their way to try to make other people happy. Most people want to see you do good. They just don't want to see you do better than them. And see, I'm just the opposite. I'd rather see everybody doing better than me, because that's going to inspire me to keep doing better. And that's where that comes from. I mean, being happy and being positive is it's a very tough thing, because you have to do it daily. And I don't know if a lot of people have that mindset. For example, every morning I wake up. I don't recommend what I'm about to say to nobody, but this is me I'm talking about. Every morning I wake up at 3 a.m. I turn my life over to Christ. I do a set of spiritual readings. Then I drink coffee out of a prison mug. Now, that's how I start my day. But that's what humbles me to where I can lay this foundation to being happy, because I understand what it's like not to be happy. I understand what it's like to go through a 25-year drug addiction. I get it. And just the fact that I survived is more than enough reason for me to be happy. Now, is there a lot of things I wish were different? Man, absolutely. Yeah. But like you said, maybe that's where I'm supposed to be. Right. And I spent a lot of time focusing on being happy, man. I mean, I think DP is another one of those type, and DP is the guy that owns the station. This guy is positive every day for no reason. And he's encouraging other people to be positive for no reason other than the fact that you got a life. I agree with that. And I think sometimes we get so caught up in taking things for granted because of what we don't have, that we don't appreciate what we do have. And I respect the fact that that you at least able to look at it and say, well, okay, this maybe I'll get to a new level, maybe I won't. But I think, my personal opinion, I think you should keep doing what you're doing as well, because we don't know what's in the future. I'm not psychic, and you never know. You might blow up, and one day I'll be like, yo, D-Luv, remember little old me? Don't forget us small timers, But no, I want to see you do better. I want to see Harrison do better. I want to see everybody continue to do better, because see, as long as everybody else is doing good, then it's inspiration for me. And I don't know if that makes sense to a lot of people, but I actually enjoy seeing people being successful, because it's like, if they can do it, then there's maybe hope for me. That makes sense? I want to know, in a perfect scenario, what would you like to do? I mean, I know you say you're doing what you like to do, but what would be like ideal for D-Luv?
Being able to DJ for large crowds. There's no better feeling for me than to be able to DJ for just a bunch of people. And in Lincoln, that's sometimes that's tough.
Right.
I had a tremendous opportunity, maybe 2-3 weeks ago, to DJ for the College World Series.
Oh wow.
And so I got to DJ after the game was over, in a huge park downtown Omaha, and it was just hundreds of people. And like the largest crowd that I've DJed for was 8,000. Got to DJ for 8,000 people. And the feeling, it's like, it's just no better feeling than just having a crowd moving. And so for me, I think that's like, there are DJs that do that on a daily basis.
Right, right.
And so for me, it's like, man, that I would just love to be able to DJ on that level where I'm playing for so many people. But what I have learned over my years is DJing for 1,000 people is easy, because the energy and just having so many people, it's easy. You play the song and everybody goes crazy. For me, DJing for 10 people is really where it's at. That's what I've learned. And so that's what I pride myself.
What do you mean by that?
If you go to a party and there's 500 people there, it's a party.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
You show up and there's 15 people there, that's not a party. You got to make it a party. That could turn into a get together real quick. That could turn into a sit down real fast. So the best DJs are the ones that could take 15 people and make it a party. Everybody's dancing, everybody's having a good time. They don't care that the place isn't full.
Yeah.
They don't care that it's not, wall to wall people. They're having fun. And it's 15 people, it's 10 people. And so if I can take a small group of people and make it feel like a big club, that's when you really DJing. And so that's and living in Lincoln, a lot of times that's the job,
Okay.
Making a party out of a small group of people, because you don't always have, you go to the city and there's clubs. The club has 3,000 people in the club.
Yeah. Yeah.
The club in Lincoln is 250 people, and that's max capacity. A lot of times you're DJing for literally 20, 50 people. So, I pride myself in being able to take a small group and just make them forget about, who's there, who's not there.
Just as long as they having a good time.
Enjoying the music, we having a good time.
I never thought about it like that, but it's kind of funny because I do motivational speaking, and I have the same mindset. When I got a large audience, it seems to be easier.
Right.
But I didn't think it would be that way for a DJ, but after you explained it, I can see that. I mean, when you got a small group, you actually do have to work harder.
You do.
Yeah, because they paying attention to everything.
Yep.
You know, when you got that thousands, you know, they all doing their own things too. So they're having fun regardless. You could almost stop playing music or stop speaking, and they're gonna still they still kicking it.
Yeah.
But no, you're right. That makes sense. You know, I didn't think about it from a DJ perspective, but that does make sense because I've spoke to small crowds and I've spoke to large crowds, and the larger crowds are the easiest, especially when, like, for example, I know I had a speech one time at in North Platte, and there was a high school, and it was a lower deck and a balcony full of people. And that hour that I was allowed went just like that. It went really fast. But then I spoke to a group of 30, and they're all looking right at you, and they're hanging on every word. So, yeah, you do have to work a little harder. I can see that.
Yeah. So for me, it's practice. Like, you know, I take a room, I'll DJ, and it's a small room, a small group of people. But in my mind, I'm like, treat this like it's 5,000.
Gotcha.
Because one day it might be.
Yeah.
And then you really gonna kill it.
Right.
And that's what happened when I went to the World Series. Like I felt like I was prepared in the way of I have DJ'd for small groups of people and taken that room to a level that I feel like a lot of DJs maybe can't. And so when I stepped on that big stage, I just had fun. It was just having fun because the energy was there. It was 500-600 people.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was just rocking and having a great time.
Well, man, I tell you, you know, and another thing that a lot of people don't understand about what you do is just the fact that you're on stage. You know what I mean? Everybody can't do that.
It took a long time. It took a long time. My first gig was at the Culture Center. One of my first gigs was at the Culture Center, the old Culture Center at the University of Nebraska.
Okay.
And I was so nervous. I didn't even look up. I had prepared every record I was going to play, and you remember, like, I had 8 crates of records. It was not I didn't know what a laptop was.
Yeah.
You had 2 turntables and a mixer.
Yeah.
And I had planned every single record that I was going to play 4 hours. I was so nervous. Picking up the mic, forget about it. Just forget about it. I don't even know what the mic. I don't even know why I brought the mic. I was so nervous. I was looking down, and I'll never forget my homeboy. He had to tap me, and he was like, "Look up." I looked up, and people were dancing, and I was like, "Oh my gosh!" And so, like, I remember I had to, I would write notes of what I was gonna say on the microphone, and then I had to build up the courage to actually say it. But it took a long time to get to the point where I was just comfortable. But now I could go speak in front of 100,000 people.
Right.
And people will tell me, like, yo, you look comfortable. I don't know how you do it. And I'm like, listen, you don't even know.
It took a minute.
Took years to get to that point.
It's funny, man, because stage fright, I think, is what they call it.
That's what it is.
You know, and it I think I've been speaking for 14 years, and I don't know why, but I like yourself, speaking to, especially to youth, adults as well, but just speaking to groups about what I'm passionate about, it just stage fright wasn't an option, because especially when I'm doing these, like say I start off going into the prison system speaking. Well, that's a whole different animal, because when you're speaking in a prison, you can't be in there talking to them like they're, well, guys, you just made a mistake. They're going to see right through that. I call it, you got to give a different presentation style, so I've always been very careful with how I speak to people and knowing my audience.
Right.
Yeah. Well, look, hey, we're going to take one more quick break. But after this break, We're going to come back, and I'm going to find out some more stuff about D-Luv. Don't y'all go anywhere. 93.7 The Ticket is to get you happy on hour.
One in 3 adults has prediabetes. 1 in 3. That means it could be you, your football buddy, your football buddy, or you, your best man, your worst man, you, your dog walker, your cat jogger. While 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes, with early diagnosis, prediabetes can be reversed. Take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org. That's doihaveprediabetes.org.
Wait, did they just say 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes? That's 33.33333% of adults. That means it could be me, my boss, or my boss's boss, or me, my favorite sister, or my other sister. That's 7 members of my 21-person romantic book club. Wait, the 1 in 3 could be me, my karaoke partner Carol, or my karaoke enemy Jeff. I'm going to take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Brought to you by the Ad Council and its Prediabetes Awareness Partners.
If you came across someone struggling with hunger, how would you recognize them? By their clothes, their age, the way they speak? Would you notice a 16-year-old boy who got his first job,
not for extra spending money, but to help feed his little sisters?
Or a mother who's in between jobs and sometimes goes to bed hungry so her kids can have dinner? Or a 14-year-old girl who signs up to every after-school activity,
not to make friends, but just to get something to eat?
Or a retiree who fell ill and had to
choose between getting medicine or groceries.
I am the 1 in 8 Americans who struggle with hunger. People you pass by every day but never knew were hungry. I am hunger in America.
Hunger can be hard to recognize. Learn why at IamHungerInAmerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America, 200 Food Banks Strong, and the Ad Council.
If you or someone you know is having thoughts of suicide or experiencing a mental health or substance use crisis, call 988 for free, confidential, and compassionate support. On July 16th, the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline is transitioning to 988. There is hope. For 24/7 support, call, text, or chat 988.
Sponsored by Nebraska DHHS, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
The captain, Vershawn Jackson.
Let's die in the double-doubles here. If you had to pass the baton down to the new guy and say, that's the new pipeline, what does that look like?
Conditioning for me ultimately is a game changer. I don't care how much you can bench, how much you can squat. If you can start a game and finish a game in the same condition in the extreme elements, you're going to have the ability to wear down your opponent. And that's what we took a lot of pride in. By the third and fourth quarter, they were dog tired. They knew it was coming at them again. The same it was in the first quarter.
Victor deployed for the first time to Afghanistan in 2003. At 4 a.m, my phone rang. They said, I regret to inform you that your husband was wounded in action. Victor sustained a moderate traumatic brain injury. I was doing school full-time, and I was also then caring for Victor. One of the most important elements of caregiving is taking care of yourself. I just didn't want to forget that I also had goals and that I also had a life. What I did is I challenged Victor to meet me halfway. There are almost 6 million military and veteran caregivers across the nation. We have our own journey, and we can fulfill that journey at the same time that we are helping our loved one.
Visit aarp.org/caregiving for a free military veterans guide to navigate your caregiving journey and better care for your loved one and yourself. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Welcome in to the Get Your Happy On Hour, featuring former Husker receiver Ricky Simmons.
Hey, we back. You know, we was talking during the break. Harrison came up with a very good question for our guests, and I'd like for you to share that with everybody. What was your question again?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're talking over the break, just kind of shooting it back and forth and trying to figure out what the biggest challenge is for a DJ today, whether it's the technology that's constantly advancing. I'm sure you've probably updated your equipment a lot over the years, or the new music. For me, I think the music would be hard because it's constantly changing.
Yeah.
And as you get older, like I'm only 24 and there's new music today that I'm not super high on that's super popular.
Yeah. Well, for me at my age, it's really a challenge because when I was younger, that was my music. And so I knew it a little better.
Mm-hmm.
But now that I'm older and I step into rooms where the crowd is a little younger, I have to recognize that, you know, this isn't my generation. So for a DJ, for me as a DJ, I have to just reach out, you know, and say, hey, you know, I go to other DJs and get music and get ideas and, you know, talk to other DJs. And so the DJ community is really cool. Like we, you know, we share information, we share music. And so it's, you know, it is a challenge to keep up with the music. Cause when I first started DJing, there was you know, you had to be signed, you had to have a record deal, you put out your record. And so, you know, and the music was funneled to a record pool or it was sent to the radio station. And so you kind of had a pulse on what was going on. Nowadays, you know, anybody can put out a record.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you know, what's popular and what's popping, you know, it's so vast. And so it is a challenge. And then there's just, you know, all the DJs. It's so easy to be a DJ. You can get a laptop and a controller and boom, you're a DJ.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, you know, there's a lot of competition. So, yeah.
Well, you know, I'm going to say this. That was a great question. Now, I got a question for you, Harris. Okay.
Let's hear it.
I got a question for you, Harris. How does Harris get his happy on?
Man, I'm actually pretty calm. I want to sit out on the patio, give me an Arnold Palmer and a book, man. That's how I relax. I don't want to hear anyone. You know, I love my girl, but that's my moment. I just kind of want to sit in silence, read, man, and just hang out in nature a little bit.
You know, that's kind of strange because you're a youngster, man. Seems like you know, I mean, most people.
I've been called an old soul a few times.
Okay, I was gonna say because a lot of people in your age group, no offense, man, but that reading a book and sitting and chilling don't have nothing to do with them at all.
Yeah, I would have not pictured you saying that.
Okay,
dope,
well, the same question for you, D-Luv. What does D-Luv do? You don't explain to us all the different things you've been doing. What do you do whenever you do get some downtime? How do you get your happy on?
Well, you know, I'm a dad. I have an 8-year-old daughter. My girl has a 5-year-old daughter. And we getting ready to have a son anytime now.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And so I'm like, I find myself like, I feel like I'm my dad. I like to dad. And when I say I like to dad, I like to have I got my coolers, you know, and I got my grill and I throw them in the truck. Then we go out and we'll barbecue, or I'll take the kids to the pool. I like to dad. Like that's really what I love to do when I have some free time. It's just like be a dad.
Well, man, look here. I gotta give a couple of quick shout outs. First one I gotta give is to my little brother, Brad Taylor, down in Texas, man. He always listens to the show and we talk on a regular basis. And I just want to say publicly, man, I'm very proud of you. I know the backstory and I know what's happening now. And I just want to let you know, man, that your big brother is proud of you. And I got to give another shout out to it's like a brother to me. His name is Benny Barrett, him and Cedric Mack, man. Them dudes they've been with me for 50 plus years. And we've been friends for that long, and we're still friends. So I always have to give a shout out and show love to people that have shown love to me. But as far as getting my happy on, it's well documented that I cannot dance. But between my ears, I think I can. And when you was talking about, when Harrison asked you that question about the music, I promise you, the music that I listen to, 90% of the people that are listening probably wasn't born when I was listening to the music that I listened to. But that's okay. I mean, I don't think there's nothing wrong with anybody's music, even if I can't understand it. You know, I understand that everybody's different. But I also want to take a minute and say thank you again. Very grateful that you guys take time out of your busy day, man, to be a part of this show. And you guys make me want to keep doing it. But I always end every show the same way. Every day that you blessed to see, it truly is another day in paradise. And no matter what, you got to get your happy on. Go! Thank y'all, man. Y'all have a great evening.